The early morning sun painted the Kenyan sky in warm hues of gold and crimson. A light wind rustled the dry savanna grass, and the land slowly stirred awake. Birds called from the trees, distant roars echoed from predators retreating to shade, and the thunderous footsteps of elephants heading to waterholes marked the rhythm of life. But one silhouette was not quite right. A lone bull elephant, massive and old, limped slowly across the open plain. His ears hung low, his movements sluggish. He dragged his right hind leg behind him, and from it trailed a dark streak of dried blood and pus. The smell, sickly sweet and foul, lingered heavily in the air. Ranger Elias, on patrol just after sunrise, noticed the odd gait through his binoculars. Riding alongside him was Dr. Lina Karimu, a seasoned wildlife veterinarian working with a local elephant rescue foundation. "Something's wrong with that one," she murmured, adjusting the zoom. "He's in pain. That leg." Elias narrowed his eyes. "Injury? More than that. It looks swollen. Could be a massive abscess. Possibly infected. If we don't intervene, he's a dead elephant walking." Emergency response. Elephants rarely separate from their herds unless something is seriously wrong. A lone bull in visible distress was a dire sign. Lina and Elias followed from a respectful distance for an hour, tracking the bull's slow movements until he paused at a small watering hole and lay down awkwardly on one side. Lina raised her tranquilizer rifle. Her hands were steady, though her voice was tight. "We need to sedate him now, before he wanders out of reach." The shot rang out, striking the elephant's flank with precision. He twitched, startled, trumpeted weakly, and staggered to his feet, but within minutes, he collapsed with a heavy thud. "Move in." Elias shouted into his radio. "He's down." A second vehicle raced across the grassland, carrying 2 more rangers and Lina's assistant. The clock was ticking. The sedation window was narrow, too long, and the elephant could suffer organ failure. Too short, and he could wake up mid-operation. Surgery under the sun. Lina approached the massive body with calm urgency. The elephant's leg was grotesquely swollen. The abscess pulsed slightly under thick, stretched skin. A small rupture near the knee oozed thick, yellowish pus. "This is worse than I thought," she said grimly. "The infection's deep. Likely from a puncture wound. Could have been a poacher's spike, a branch, even a hidden snare." She made the incision. At once, a torrent of pus erupted, releasing an overpowering stench. Everyone recoiled, gagging, but Lina stayed focused, scraping and draining the abscess with clinical efficiency. "Flush it. With peroxide and saline. Then antibiotics. And I need stitching materials, big ones." They worked rapidly. Her assistant flushed the wound with a jet of disinfectant while Lina cleaned and scraped necrotic tissue. She packed the wound with absorbent gauze, administered painkillers, and stitched the edges with heavy-duty suture. A small drainage tube was left in place to keep fluids from building up. "He needs a full course of antibiotics for the next 5 days at least," Lina said. "But he's wild. How the hell do we treat him every day?" Elias thought for a moment. "We'll track him. GPS, drones, ground patrol. And we'll use dart injections from a safe distance." She nodded. "It's risky, but it's the only way." The fight begins. The elephant was named Bakery, meaning one who survives, in Swahili. He woke up groggy but alert. With difficulty, he stood, shook off dust, and limped into the thicket. Over the next days, the team followed his every move. GPS tags and drone coverage helped them locate him daily. Lina administered antibiotic darts from 20 meters, ensuring precise doses without stressing the animal. At first, Bakery ran from them, startled and untrusting. But by the 3rd day, he stood still, calmly watching the vehicle approach. He seemed to understand. These humans weren't predators. They were helpers. By day 4, Bakery stopped dragging his leg. He walked with renewed strength, even greeting a small herd that passed nearby. A young female approached him, touched his trunk. A soft, almost intimate gesture. "He's healing," Lena said, smiling. "He's reconnecting." But nature wasn't done testing him yet. A turn for the worse. On the 5th morning, a drone operator called in. "He's down. Not moving." Lena and Elias raced across the plains. What they found made their hearts sink. Bakery lay in a shaded clearing, breathing heavily, foam at his mouth. The wound was inflamed again, pus and blood streaked his side. His breathing was shallow, and he didn't respond to voices. "Sepsis," Elias whispered. "Possibly," Lena muttered. "Or kidney failure. He's crashing." They sedated him again. Lena reopened the wound, removed infected tissue, flushed it thoroughly, and administered a cocktail of strong antibiotics and anti-inflammatories. And 4 was set up. She sat beside him, her hand resting lightly on his massive side, murmuring to him as the sun set. They camped by his side through the night, taking turns checking his vitals, warding off jackals and vultures. The smell of infection hung heavy, but they refused to give up. Just before dawn, Bakery lifted his head. Lena knelt beside him, overwhelmed. "He's fighting. Recovery." The next weeks were full of slow, steady progress. Bakery moved more. He drank, bathed in mud, swatted flies with his tail. He rejoined the herd, this time staying close to 2 younger bulls. The wound gradually closed. Hair grew back. The swelling subsided. Lena checked on him every few days. He always recognized her. Once, he approached so close she could feel his breath on her arm. He touched her shoulder with his trunk, slow, deliberate, gentle. That moment stayed with her forever. 2 months after the operation, Bakery stood tall on a ridge overlooking the savannah, framed by golden light. His silhouette was strong again. Whole. "He made it," Elias said, quietly. "No," Lena replied. "He chose to make it." Epilogue. Bakery's story became a symbol of hope for the entire region. Photos of his healing process were used in conservation campaigns. His survival reminded everyone, scientists, rangers, and locals alike, that even the strongest creatures need help sometimes. And Lena? She never forgot that first moment, kneeling by a massive leg, cutting into a rotting wound, knowing she might be too late. When asked why she did what she did, she would always answer. Because they feel. They endure pain in silence. And when they trust you enough to let you help, there's no greater honor. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next episodes.